Kev Bounce, can we have details of your rumpy pumpy? Pumpy, please. Well, when you say details, would you want me to do the sound effects? Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that, I can exaggerate and say, she said, "Oh, Eddie, you're the best. You're the best. You're the best that I've had so far today." Oh my God.
Hey everyone, Jano here, and welcome to Steady Eddy Exposed. Now, some of you may know who Steady Eddy is, whereas others might not. Steady Eddy, real name Edward Sweeney, from Liverpool in England, is a travel YouTuber who shows the world what life is like for a sojourning, wandering journeyman in Southeast Asia. You will find Edward everywhere, from Thailand to Cambodia, the Philippines to Vietnam. Sounds cool, right? Well, the reason why I take issue with Eddy and the reason why I'm making this video today is because it's become apparent to me that Eddy is a sexual deviant who preys upon vulnerable women. That's the harsh bottom line of this, and that's what we'll be digging into today. Now, stumbling across Edward's YouTube channel, he struck me as a harmless, docile, happy-go-lucky, cheeky chappy. Far from it. Edward Sweeney is a monster hiding in plain sight. It's always in hindsight that we wonder, why didn't we see the warning signs of these freaks? Well, with Edward, the warning signs are very clear that this man is a predator. In fact, he is proud of it, and dig deep enough, you'll see that he makes no secret of it either. That's what we'll be getting into in this video. On the face of it, Eddy runs a wholesome, family-friendly travel channel, Steady Eddy's Travels, which has amassed over 50,000 YouTube subscribers. Today, we're going to lift the veil and peer beyond at the dark side of Edward Sweeney. I'm going to shine a light on him and show him for what he really is, a nasty little pervert. We're going to start off by taking a look at one of his videos, in which he explains why it's okay for him to frequent prostitutes in Southeast Asia.
Okay, so the other day I was having my hair cut. I was in the barber's having my hair cut. Well, that's what you do in the barber's, isn't it? I mean, I didn't go in there to do a karaoke. So anyway, I was in the barber's, having my hair cut, and I was sitting in the barber's chair. He's a good guy, known him for a long time, and he knows that I love my travelling. Well, this is a unisex barber's, you see, which means that you often see women in there, both women having their hair done and women doing a hairdressing. Well, on this occasion, there were two women in there. I could see them in the mirror, right? And basically they were chatting away like as if they knew each other very, very well. So the barber began his friendly conversation while he's cutting my very limited amount of hair. And, well, he knows that I love my travel. So he thought that he'd introduce me to these two ladies in the salon. See this man here, he said? He's been everywhere. Yeah, I mean, he's been to every country on the planet. You name it, he's been there. Well, it's all very nice, but that's not exactly true. It's not true at all. I haven't been everywhere, not by a long way. There are plenty of countries that I haven't been to, but he loves saying things like that anyway. You know what people are like. You tell them one thing and they'll assume another. So, having introduced me to these two ladies, both the woman having her hair done and the woman doing it, the barber decided to ask me his favourite question. Where am I going next on my travels? So I said in my typically enthusiastic tone, I'm planning a nice big adventure this winter time, a few old places and maybe even a couple of new ones. Well, the barber and the two ladies in the salon seemed genuinely interested. I didn't even know these ladies, but I'd clearly won them over with my infectious, winsome charm. They seemed genuinely interested. So the barber said, okay, so where is your first port of call? And I said, well, I just know that you were going to love this. I'd really won these ladies over, really had done. So I said, I'm beginning my adventure in Thailand and... I didn't get any further when I heard this not-so-feminine scowl from these two ladies, rather like the growl of a Rottweiler. I suddenly felt this icy blast, like the temperature had suddenly turned Arctic. I looked in the mirror and the faces of these two ladies were black like thunder. And then one of them, the one doing the hairdressing, looked over at me and said with the most angry sounding venom in her voice, "You know what they say about fellas who go to Thailand? They only go out there for the one thing." "Really?" I said, like as if I'd never heard this before. Well, I have heard it before many times, you know, the business about fellas going out to Thailand for the one thing. But, and it always seems to come from middle-aged women as well, by the way. But I was kind of glad that they said this about fellas going to Thailand for the one thing, because this enabled me to say, sure, but isn't that the same one thing that middle-aged women go to Egypt and Turkey and Gambia and Tunisia for? It's the same one thing, isn't it? Well, this comment didn't go down too well, and the two ladies were clearly a bit ruffled by this. It turned out that these two ladies, both the hairdresser and the customer, were good friends, and together they visited Turkey every year. For the weather, of course, yes. So the hairdresser said, in a not very friendly manner, "Turkey's a wonderful country. Me and my friend here visit Turkey every year. We always have a great time." Well, in for the penny, in for the pound, I couldn't resist saying, "Yeah, sure, Turkey's a wonderful country. And let's face it, they've got lots of handsome young gigolos out there as well. I'm sure you have a great time." Well, of course, this comment of mine went down like the band on the Titanic. I mean, the atmosphere in the salon suddenly turned from cold to freezing. I mean, if the barber at that moment had offered to throw in a free shave, I would not have invited either of these ladies to hold the razor. But I'll stand my ground, and I don't regret what I said, simply because I do not like hypocrisy. Yes, it's true there are many middle-aged and older than middle-aged men who go out to Thailand because they fancy a bit of boom boom with a hot young Thai lady. That's fine. But there are also plenty of middle-aged and old ladies who go out to these countries like Turkey and Gambia, Tunisia, wherever, because they like a bit of exotic action with these handsome young gigolo fellas. It's a well-known fact. Of course, these young gigolos, like the Thai girls, are motivated purely by money, regardless of what they tell you. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with any of this. Fine, I mean, but I just do not like hypocrisy in any way, shape or form. At the end of the day, if it's all right for one, then it's all right for the other. So, what is the correct term for these divorced middle-aged ladies who like to travel to these countries where they're going to be treated like a queen by handsome young gigolos half their age? I'm not sure what the correct term for these ladies are, but what I do know is that middle-aged men who travel to Asian countries looking for a bit of boom boom at a very reasonable price are often referred to as mongers. So the way I see it, if men who do this are mongers, then women who do this must be wongers. Yeah, that's it. We'll settle for that. These women are wongers. So, without further ado, let's look at some fine examples of wongers. These are some delightful old ladies who famously took wongerism to the extreme. It's well known that there's a type of old lady who likes a bit of sun, sea, sand, and a bit of the other, usually with some virile, dark-skinned gigolo who promises her true love are the type she can't find in dreary old UK. Egypt, Turkey, Tunisia and Gambia are popular hangouts for these lusty old biddies. It's all smiles and promises, and these love-struck old ladies have the time of their lives until the grim reality dawns and she finds out the hard way that her handsome young lover is really after something more than her wrinkly old body. Scams are commonplace, and a lot of these old ladies often lose money. If you thought the old story of the Thai girl's sick buffalo was bad, you want to hear some of the ways these crafty young gigolos use to extort money from their love-struck old lady. I like the story of the young Gambian man who said he was impotent and needed money to pay a witch doctor to help him rise to the occasion. This lady brought her Gambian toy boy back to the UK and thought they were going to live happily ever after, only to discover he had another lover. When she asked him why she wasn't woman enough for him, he replied, "But everyone is laughing at us." Really? Oh, come on, what's so funny? But pride of place in the Wonga's list has to go to the 70-year-old granny who married a 21-year-old Tunisian waiter. They seemed like a match made in heaven until he decided he wanted children, which he obviously couldn't give him. But at least they had plenty of fun trying. I'm kind of wondering what kind of adjectives would be used to describe a 70-year-old man who's shacked up with a 21-year-old Thai girl. Any suggestions? Yeah, that's more or less what I thought. Well, don't think I'm knocking these old ladies, far from it. They like what they like and good for them, let them get on with it. Just as many old men like a bit of the young exotic stuff, these old ladies clearly like exactly the same thing. These old ladies clearly, unequivocally went to these countries for the one thing. And if that's the one thing that they enjoy, then let them get on with it. I believe in freedom of choice. I believe in equality between the sexes. I don't like hypocrisy or double standards. And what I'm saying is that if it's okay for a 70-year-old woman to have a bit of rumpy-pumpy with a Tunisian waiter young enough to be her grandson, then that is fine by me. But just do not tell me that there's anything wrong with me having a bit of how's your father with a hot young Thai lady, because if it's all right for one, then it's all right for the other. So, to sum it up, don't worry about what anyone says about the one thing. I mean, if the one thing is what you enjoy, then go right ahead and enjoy the one thing. Embrace the one thing. I don't mean physically embrace the one thing. Well, I suppose you could, you know, if you're into that sort of thing. But personally, the way I see it, the one thing is all very well, but it can get a bit monotonous. I mean, personally, I like to throw in a few rivers and mountains and various other adventures along my travels. But yes, I don't deny that I am a bit partial to the one thing. I mean, why the hell not? I mean, life's too short to simply go on dreaming about the one thing. Go right ahead and have it. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope this video has given you something to think about. I hope it's been useful to you. Have a great day, a great evening, whatever. I hope you have many happy travels ahead. As for me, I'm currently making plans for my winter travels, which actually begin in September in Thailand. You never know, you may even see me out there. I'll be easy to recognise. I'll probably be staggering out of a massage parlour somewhere with a big Cheshire Cat grin on my face and wearing a t-shirt that reads, "This is what a satisfied customer looks like." Thanks once again and cheers.
Now, if you're a fan of Eddy, please don't jump to attack me, but instead look at the evidence I'm going to present in this video. The fact is that Sweeney is a shame to all Scousers and a blight on all Liverpudlians. Eddy knows that prostitution is illegal in these countries, so he does make a weak attempt to obfuscate the fact he is telling his subscribers how to pay for play. But when you watch these videos, you will see that he is explicitly advertising sex tourism, and giving advice on where and how men can purchase sex in Southeast Asia. He attempts to skirt around incriminating himself, but as you watch these, he is actually very open and brazen about paying for illegal prostitution in Southeast Asia. Steady Eddy takes great pleasure in defiling and even deflowering the local women and girls, and will tell you as such with relish and glee in his videos. It's all of no consequence to Ed to take advantage of these destitute women.
So, for the 2-week budget traveller to Pattaya, £1,580. Now, come on, for all you've heard about Thailand being expensive, you must admit, that's not bad. Wait a minute, have we covered everything? Oh yes, there is one more thing that you may want to spend money on. Oh yes. Ladies. Yes, ladies. Okay, let's not beat about the bush. If you've heard of Pattaya and you've seen all of the videos, you will gather that Pattaya has an abundance of lovely ladies. You can meet them in bars, you can meet them in nightclubs, massage parlours, freelancers, whatever. And what is universal about women is that they don't come cheap. That's not just in Thailand, that's everywhere on the planet. Women do not come cheap. But I have to say, the Thai ladies are worth it. So you're on a 2-week budget holiday, but you still want to have fun with the ladies. So how much will you spend on female company? Well, before anyone gets any ideas, I'm not going to start giving prices out for pay for play. That's not allowed in Thailand, and obviously I got to be a bit vague. All I'll say is that you can budget your prices for everything else, but it's when you encounter Thai ladies, that's when your spending money really goes up. From the moment you enter a beer bar and order yourself a drink, the pressure will be on you to spend more. You will have to buy them more drinks. Come on, if you're a newbie, watch out. Keep your guard up, or it could end up blowing a hole in your daily budget. So, ladies. Yes, ladies. There's no doubt that there's plenty of them available in Pattaya, and you want some female company. Well, it's up to you. You may want to meet one girl and stay with her throughout your 2-week stay, or you may want to fill your boots, as I have tended to do in the past. It's up to you. How many ladies? Well, you may want to take it easy and aim for a magnificent 7, or you may really want to make the most of your stay and aim for a dirty dozen. Yes, when I first started going to Thailand for 2 weeks at a time, a magnificent 7 was more than enough to make my holiday worthwhile. After 2 weeks of fun in the sun and a magnificent 7, I would return home with a big Cheshire Cat grin on my face. Later, I started going to Thailand for a month at a time, and when I was going there for a month, I would always aim for a dirty dozen. It became a bit of a running joke after a while. I'd return home from a holiday in Thailand and people would often say, "How did your holiday go, Ed?" Nudge, nudge. "You look invigorated, Ed. I take it you had your dirty dozen." Okay, so I think I've made my point there. Women cost money. Is that a surprise to anyone? So let's get back to this budget 2-week holiday. For flights, hotels, travel to airport, food and drink, we are up to £1,580 for 2 weeks. Great value. So how much money are you going to lavish on the ladies? Well, it's entirely up to you. It's up to your libido and your wallet. Whether you take the ladies for a night out or a day out, or simply want to have a bit of how's your father, having fun with the ladies will increase your budget dramatically. So what's the answer? Well, you know what? Remember when I said your daily food and drink budget should add up to £700 for that 2-week period? Well, I'd add another £700 for having fun with the ladies. Yes, that other £700 could include anything from lady drinks to bar fines and beyond. You want to have fun with the ladies, but you don't want to go over the top. Add another £700 to your overall budget and see how far you can get. I'd say you could have a lot of fun with that figure. just so long as you don't get your ladies from go-go bars. Place is expensive for drinks. Not only that, but it's one of those places where they add VAT to the price, so it's even more expensive. I thought Thailand was supposed to be cheap, but there was a good atmosphere in that place, and there were ladies, quite a lot of them. I thought this is going to be the place where I get my first Thai girl. Well, I did meet a girl there, but she wasn't actually Thai. She was from Laos, and I have to say, it was not the best experience I've ever had with a lady. She came back to my hotel, and basically, she stitched me up for the price. I should have established the price before, foolish of me not to, but I put it down to a learning experience. I didn't let it get me down. I knew there'd be better things to come. And better things did come in the form of Pattaya. Wow, I remember when the bus pulled it onto Beach Road, and it seemed all at once I'd come to the right place. That big concrete jungle Bangkok was gone, and now I could see the sea, all the excitement, those bars, everything looked terrific. I decided I liked this place even before I stepped off the bus. So, I've talked about the main girly bars in Phnom Penh, but how about elsewhere in Cambodia? Well, you won't find as many hot ladies elsewhere as in the capital, but in Siem Reap and Chinookville, there are still bars and complexes where you can find girls easily. The prices may sometimes be a bit less, but not really that much less, and you will still have to pay the $10 bar fine. Okay, so what about freelancers then? You can save money on a bar fine that way. Where you will find freelancers is in a couple of bars in Chinookville and what is probably Phnom Penh's premier nightclub, Pontoon. In Pontoon, located in 51 Street, there are hot, sexy ladies in abundance, dressed in the most hot, sexy way, and with no bar fine to pay. However, what I've often found with these girls is that they want more money than what you will pay in the girly bars in Phnom Penh. Maybe the freelance girls think that in a nightclub you should pay nightclub prices. Well, these girls will get what they can get, but personally nightclubs are not my thing. Maybe because I can't dance. And the girls in Pontoon are really no better looking than the ones that you'll meet in the bars of 136 or 104 Street. An important point to make is the difference between bar fine girls and freelancers. Freelancers may sometimes be a better deal, but I always prefer the security of the bar fine. Don't forget, it may piss you off having to pay a $10 bar fine every time you want to take a girl out of there, but that bar fine acts as a kind of insurance. That girl is known to the bar, she works in the bar, and if anything was to go wrong, you've got a comeback. Personally, I've always bar fined girls, and I can honestly say in all the years of going out to Cambodia, I have never had a problem with any of them. No girl has ever robbed me, cheated me, which is why I go back again and again. Now, freelancers, well, I've got to say, whenever I've heard of a guy being robbed by a girl in these countries, they always turn out to be freelancers. Always ask yourself, why do these girls work as freelance? Maybe it's because they're not of good character and a lot of the bars won't touch them. Speaking of girls who are likely to rob you guys, I must mention 51 Street, Phnom Penh. Aside from Pontoon, you also have bars and cafes which seem to attract both expats and some of the skankiest females you will meet anywhere. Not only are these girls who hang around the street freelancers, they are often skillful thieves and they will try and rob your smartphone or your wallet or both. These are the bargain basement girls of Phnom Penh. They may offer to go back to your hotel room. How much do they want? I don't know. I wouldn't touch them with a barge pole. A lot of them look like they haven't even had a wash for the last 3 months. And yet, there are some guys who will go with these girls. They're obviously not fussy. They're looking for the bargain basement, cheap and nasty material. And these guys will often get robbed by the girls. There are some really good bars in the 51 area, you know, like the Shanghai, for example, but just beware of those skanky street girls. Okay, so I've talked about bar girls and freelancers, but what about massages? You know, a good old dirty massage. Maybe a happy ending or even perhaps a bit more. those great sexy massages which offer you a special. In Thailand, you get everything with that massage. A dirty massage, a soapy massage, even a dirty soapy massage if you want one. I'll talk all about that in a forthcoming video. Cambodia simply doesn't have the same sort of sexy massage scene as Thailand does. But so what anyway, there's plenty of hot sexy ladies about of a night time anyway. Okay, so one final point. Now I've spoken about you know, bar girls and bar finds and freelancers and and massages even. But what if during your stay, I don't know how long you're going to be out in Cambodia, during the course of that stay you meet a lovely girl in one of these bars and you decide that you want to be with her all the time, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe more. How much will that cost you? Well, the only way I can answer that is that you've got to look at what that girl's loss of earnings would be. If she works in the bar, she may earn little per night. She may earn an average of $50 a night. She may even earn $100 a night. Now you add that up over the course of a week. If you want to be with that girl for a week, you've got to compensate her loss of earnings. So basically you have to judge that for yourself. It's down to the individual girl and your relationship with her basically. I'd like to give you a specific price and say this is how much a girl will cost if you're with her all week. But that's unrealistic. I mean, you know, I wouldn't even attempt to do that. You've got to make your own judgments on that. That's between you and the girl. Some girls can earn little money. Some girls can earn a fair bit of money. You have to take all that into account. All I'll say is that if it's a really, really hot, sexy, good-looking girl who is capable of making lots of money in the bar, if you want to be with her all week, then it's not going to come cheap, promise you. So, I hope I've given you guys a good idea of what to expect if you're looking for ladies in Cambodia. The great thing about this country is that it still remains great value and there is no shortage of lovely ladies. The girls that you meet in the bars are great company. They're there to earn a living, and if you treat them right, then they'll do exactly the same for you. So, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel because I've got a whole lot more info that I want to share with you. And give this video a thumbs up if it's been useful to you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and cheers.
It's expensive, even in an ordinary bar, it's expensive for drinks. Now, if you're going to come down here and there's girly bars, ladies waiting outside to pull you in, then things are going to get a whole lot more expensive. It doesn't take a genius to figure that one out. So let me first of all tell you about what I've seen with regards to the quality of ladies. Well, there were a significant amount of girls waiting outside, but they were all in, not revealing dress or provocative clothing or anything like that. They look a little bit middle-aged, and to be honest with you, they weren't really that exciting to look at. They weren't really anything that you go out your way for. Now, you may think to yourself, well, I don't sound very enthusiastic about the ladies' situation here. Well, I didn't actually come to Taiwan for that. Before I was here, I was in Thailand. When I leave here in a couple of days' time, I'm going back to Thailand. I think I've had enough of that sort of thing. I'm not exactly gagging for it. I mean, while I'm here, if there's no, available ladies, or I don't trust them or whatever, so what? May as well give little Eddy a rest.
And freelancers, even though they may appear to be better value, are not always my cup of tea because they are not committed to that bar and are generally less safe to be with. If you do happen to hook up with one of these ladies and want to take her back to your hotel, remember, Vietnam is not Thailand, and many hotels simply won't allow this, or may insist that your lady guest is off the premises before a certain time. So check with your hotel before you consider any of this. Have I mentioned massages? Well, there are massage places around Hanoi, but they are not in the same league as my regular Thai favourites. In Thailand, you can get everything, the full works. In Vietnam, the most you're likely to get is a happy ending, but personally, that's not enough for me. If I want a happy ending, I'll go see a movie. If you have a limited time in Vietnam and want to meet girls, then Ho Chi Minh is a far better option. But it doesn't worry me too much because I'm travelling for many months, visiting a variety of different locations, and if one place doesn't deliver the goods, I can always give little Eddy a rest and save my money for elsewhere.
So anyway, about the videos I make. Well, as you know, I'm a middle-aged guy who loves travel. I've travelled to many countries, mostly third world countries because they're better value and I can stay there a lot longer. As a kid, I never went anywhere, so I always dreamed that I'd travel the world one day and make up for a misspent youth. This is exactly what I've done over the past couple of decades. Now, let's talk a bit about ladies. You know, the ones I encounter on my travels. Well, I've never denied I like the ladies or that I indulge with them. Yes, I indulge quite often when I'm out here. I don't see that as a problem. As long as they're all adult, all female and all consenting, then why the hell not? I like ladies. The important point I have to make about this is that even though I like the ladies, they're not necessarily what my YouTube channel is essentially all about. This is first and foremost a travel channel. The ladies are just the icing on the cake. Now, this brings me back to the comments section and to a word which, believe it or not, I never really heard until recent times. It's the word monger. Monger, for Christ's sake. What the hell is mongering? I mean, what's a monger? Well, you see, I first became aware of this word when someone used it to describe me and my videos. Am I a monger? Jesus, it's such a funny word. I mean, it makes me laugh. I just never thought of myself as that. Well, all I know is that whatever a monger is, I'm sure I've been called far worse than that.
Now, even places like 136 can still come up with some real surprises. Alaska Bar. I've never even heard of that one before. I mean, I thought Alaska is that cold place north of America, you know, with lots of ice and all that kind of stuff. Well, believe me, the ladies in Alaska Bar, 136th Street, are certainly not cold. They are hot. There are some real hot ladies there. Last night I met a charming young lady out of there, beautiful chick, but really fussy. You know, some of these girls actually do not like facial stubble, and basically it was a case of no shave, no honey. I mean, when we got back to the hotel, the first thing she insisted that I do is have a shave, and she put her foot down as well. She, she wasn't going to take no for an answer. Yeah, no shave, no honey. Well, I shaved, and believe me, she was well worth it.
But the point is, my videos are not exclusively mongering videos. I mean, I've made videos on Angkor Wat. I've made videos on the island of Koh Rong and places where there is no mongering to be done. Well, if anyone wants to call me a monger, then go right ahead. I don't care. Now, I know what some may be thinking. There are videos on YouTube about the nightlife scene in Phnom Penh, and they even show girls. Well, I know exactly what YouTubers make those videos, because I watch them as well. But please understand, those videos which show intimate bar scenes of bar girls and their customers, those videos are made by YouTubers who don't show their own face on screen, and sometimes not even their voice. And those video shots they get are surreptitious. They're with hidden cameras. Now, I'm not going to judge the ethics of surreptitious filming because I enjoy watching those videos when I'm back in the UK. But what I'm saying, it's a lot easier for those guys to do it than it is for me. Nobody knows what those YouTubers look like, whereas quite a few people in the Phnom Penh Riverside area know my face. If I started sneakily filming the girls, believe me, they'd soon know who the culprit was, and it wouldn't make me very popular in that area.
Live band again, great entertainment at least. Then I was approached by another of the bar staff. I'd noticed they're collecting glasses earlier.
This one was a young and very petite little one, early 20s. She asked why I wouldn't go with the girl the previous night. "She like you," this girl said. I said I liked her, but it was too late now. She was with another guy. Then this young girl said something I heard for the first time, but it was always going to make me laugh whenever I heard it. "You like lady?" I don't know what it was, but it just sounded so funny, not what I was used to. Well, they did say Thailand was different. Well, this girl sat down and I bought her a drink, which I quickly learned was called a lady drink. And she was a lovely young lady, that's for sure. No glamorous dress, just jeans and t-shirt, and she was lovely. She then told me that a lot of the bar staff were her family members. She had 3 or 4 sisters all working at the bar. She was 22 and the youngest. I don't know if that was good or bad, or really what I could do with this girl. Could I take her back to the hotel? Would her older sisters prevent me from taking her out of the bar? I really didn't know what the script was with all of this. And then one of the staff mentioned to her that I would have to pay a bar fine. "You have to pay bar fine for me," she said. "A what? A bar fine?" This was the first time I'd ever heard that phrase. You probably gather by now that I didn't do a great deal of research before I booked that flight. But I did pay the bar fine, and I did take her out of the bar, and her older sisters didn't have a problem. In fact, I remember all their happy, smiley faces as she was saying goodnight to them before leaving the bar with me. Somehow, I just couldn't imagine this same scenario in England. A young girl leaving the bar with a much older man, and no one has a problem with it. Somehow, it just took a bit of getting used to. Well, she came back to my hotel, and yes, that's right, she was my first Thai girl, and she was terrific. I don't need to go into the details. Let's just say she was so funny and full of fun. I had a fantastic night with her. Here I was knocking on the door of middle age, and all of a sudden I felt young again. Well, I decided I liked Pattaya. I liked the hotel, I liked the bars, I liked the beach, I liked the people. Everything just seemed so relaxed there. What a fantastic place. So I've been with my first Thai girl, and that left me feeling so damn good. Time to explore a bit more. Remember, this was my first visit, and I just wanted to relax and meet those lovely exotic ladies for the first time. And my only concern with this great little Thai girl was that at 22, she was a bit too young. I thought it'd be a better idea to find some older ones. Well, the next Thai girl I met was older. She was 29, and she was just about every idea I ever had of a dusky-skinned exotic beauty. She was a go-go dancer, and she worked in a bar which is still there now. It's called the Tahitian Queen. Well, this lovely lady could have come straight out of a Bounty advert. That lovely skin tone against the white costume she was wearing. She was gorgeous. Well, I brought this lady back to my hotel room not just once, but 3 consecutive nights. Don't forget, this was 17 years ago, and everything, including go-go dancers, was much better value then. I always remember the photos this girl carried around with her. She had so many photos of her mother, who seemed like an idol to her. And also she had photos of herself teaching a classroom with kids. That's right, she was a school teacher by day and a go-go dancer by night. Well, it's an interesting variety of jobs, I suppose. What I was really loving about all this was the simplicity of it all. These girls are, of course, motivated by money, but so what? Isn't everyone? And this girl, this beautiful go-go dancer, was another Thai girl who was full of fun. She didn't have a problem in the world. Also, there was no mention of any relationship or planning anything. She's motivated by money, I'm here for a good time. It's as simple as that. I was quickly getting used to that kind of arrangement, and I liked it. Well, my time in Pattaya was soon over. I only had 2 weeks back then, and before I left I had to squeeze in Chiang Mai. I'd had my fun with the ladies in Pattaya, so I wanted to do something cultural, and I'd read that Chiang Mai had all those beautiful temples. So I made that long journey by train, and yes, I visited so many great temples, and stayed in a beautiful wooden hotel, and even had another beautiful bar girl. So that was it. That was my first trip to Thailand. I can remember it all so well. I also remember my first night back in England, having a night out in a local nightclub and looking at all those miserable English women, mostly divorcees, with their sour faces. Jesus, that was enough for me. I decided nights out in England were not worth bothering with. Far better to save my hard-earned money and have more trips to Thailand. Because even if I can go there sporadically, it's better to be a winner for a couple of weeks than be a loser for the whole year. It's funny, isn't it, that I can remember so clearly that first visit to Thailand. And remember in detail those lovely Thai girls I met. I've visited Thailand so many times since, and met so many lovely ladies over the years, but somehow those first ones are always the ones you remember best. So what's it like now to meet Thai girls? How does it compare to my first visit? Well, I've got to say, there's a downside and an upside to this. The downside is, Thailand has got a lot more expensive than it was 17 years ago. The upside is, even though I'm 17 years older, the girls I'm meeting are still the same age. I'm not complaining.
So, what awaits us in Thailand this year? Now that the pandemic's over and we've got the green light for everything, will it be back to the good old days of bar girls, beer bars and bar fights? Is all that going to be the same as it was before? Well, not exactly. You see, after that long drawn-out pandemic took its toll, the word is that things are not quite the same in Thailand, the resort of Pattaya and places like that, as they were before, mainly regarding the bar girls. Now, it was noticeable when I travelled around Thailand early this year that the standard of bar girls was not really what it should be. Well, to be honest with you, during that pandemic, I mean, nothing was what it should be. But the quality of the girls certainly wasn't what you remembered it before. The girls seemed to be older and, well, I know it sounds a bit unkind, but not a good quality. I mean, not so many 25 and 30-year-olds working in the bars. They were more like 35, 40, maybe even beyond that. Not so many hot, sexy ladies. More like cold, worn-out old trollops. Okay, I know that sounds a bit unkind, but you know what I mean. A lot of those girls simply went back to their villages, and you can't blame them. I mean, you know, no tourist means no money. So now that the pandemic is over, have all those lovely Thai girls returned to places like Pattaya? Well, it doesn't really look like it. It seems that some of them have found other avenues to ply their trade. When I was travelling through Thailand early this year, I met up with a subscriber to this channel. We were sitting in a bar somewhere, and there was a couple of older working girls at the bar also. Now, by now, I couldn't really get motivated by any of the girls that I was seeing. At the end of the day, you either fancy someone or you don't fancy them. But I said to my friend in the bar, I said bluntly, be honest. Do you really feel sexually attracted towards these Thai girls that you're seeing? And his answer was, if I'm brutally honest, about 90% of them, no. I have to agree. I mean, don't get me wrong, Thai girls are beautiful, but the ones that I was seeing around in the bars as I was travelling around Thailand were not really my cup of tea. Like I say, you either fancy a girl or you don't fancy it, and I just didn't really, not really done it for me, to be honest with you. So what exactly has happened to all the hot Thai girls? Where are they? Well, a lot of bar owners in places like Pattaya are saying that they're struggling to get girls. I mean, there's not that many girls around to work in the bars. But I think the shortage of girls in the bars, I think maybe it's not just the pandemic. I think there could perhaps be another reason. So anyway, I'm going to read something that a Thai expat sent me on Facebook. He has some interesting ideas about this. His question is, has the quality of bar girls dropped over the years, and if so, why? Well, this expat reasons that bar girls are nowhere near the quality of years gone by. In his words, I seem to remember the days when I could fall in love with a bar girl in nearly every bar I went in.
Now I need to go in a few bars to find one that I would bar fine. Well, as he says, a lot of these bar girls come from the region of Isan, and during the Vietnam War, most of the US air bases were in Isan. When the GIs left, a lot of the girls could speak English, and so headed to the red light scenes of Bangkok and Pattaya. So, why is there a shortage of hot young Thai girls around these days? Well, a large part of it is due to a fall in birth rate over the years, so each generation brings less hot toddy than the previous one. Isan man, that's what this guy's name is, also goes on to say that Isan is not as poor as it once was. People there are now better educated, and also in places like Udon Thani, the red light scene is more aimed at middle class Thai customers. There are still plenty of Farangs in Udon Thani, but about 40% less bar girls than 20 years ago. I think this has changed the whole dynamic of the bars, as they have to pay the bar girls more, increase bar fines with less girls. This means less lady drinks, which is a major source of income for the bars. So, with the peak season coming along soon, is it going to be rocking and rolling with lovely bar girls in places like Pattaya the way it once was? Don't forget the rise of dating apps and stuff like that. Thai girls have found other ways of making a living. So, do you think there'll be a fresh wave of farm girls heading down to Bangkok and Pattaya this peak season? Well, according to Isan man, Isan is not like it was 25 years ago, and it no longer has a bottomless pool of bar girls. He says the number of good-looking Thai girls willing to work as bar girls is 35 to 40% down on what it was years ago, and the number is going to shrink as the years go by. I think there'll still be plenty of really lovely bar girls around in places like Pattaya, just as not as many as there were before. And also there is more of an influx of the older ladies, if you like that sort of thing. So if you want quality, you're going to have to pay big money for it. That's the reality of the way it is in Thailand right now. I hear that, bar fines are constantly increasing and they're not going to go back. They're quite expensive now. I'm hearing that the Thai girls are calling the shots left, right and centre. This is what I'm hearing from a lot of people. They can work in whatever bar they want and be picky and choosy. And of course the Thai girls will work in any bar that pays them the most money. You can't blame them. They're motivated by money, so that's the way it is. That's the way it is, guys. It seems to me that in this day and age, the ball is very much in the Thai girls' court. Or to put it in another old-fashioned British way, they've got you by the short and curlies.
Just as a caveat, it's worth noting that Steady Eddy doesn't only abuse broken women in Southeast Asia. He's talked of taking advantage of poverty-stricken, drug-addicted women all across Europe, and in this clip, rambles about what the sex worker scene is like in Holland. The sad bottom line of the matter is that this is a seedy, deeply depraved pervert we're dealing with.
So, why does anyone want to go to Amsterdam? Well, I'll start with myself. Well, stag do's come here. Groups of young men come here for a weekend on the booze, and also the availability of wacky backy, and of course the availability of rumpy pumpy. How's your father? Bit of the old in and out, here to see those beautiful ladies in the windows. This is what Amsterdam is famous for. It's red light area. This is why blokes visit the place. Now, I know what you probably met blokes who say that this is their go-to place for booze and wacky backy, and the girls in the windows don't interest them. Well, I'm calling BS on that. I've seen young men going into these rooms and coming out with big grins on their faces. And I've heard the lauded conversations they've had with their mates afterwards. I'm a guy myself, don't forget. So, girls, if you're into getting married soon and your groom says he's going to Amsterdam for a stag do, you may want to question his sincerity. He's probably going there for one last leg over before he settles down. In fact, I've seen couples approach the girls in the windows and asking how much for both of them. It makes three people happy all at once. As for those girls in the windows, well, they really are beautiful. They have to be. There's so many to choose from. And they tempt you in those windows with their exotic looks and skimpy clothing. Lovely. And their ethnicity, well, it tends to be a lot of Romanians, Bulgarians, Italians, and other Europeans. Beautiful, really, really beautiful. Now, the prudes will claim all these girls are being trafficked. What? Well, I can tell you that the ones I've encountered are definitely not trafficked. So how am I so sure of that? Simple. They have a great sense of humour. And I believe that it's impossible for a girl to be trafficked into having a sense of humour. You simply can't do that. They are there to make money. Oh, I don't deny some of them have shady boyfriends who take all that money from them. But the same happens in council estates, where a young woman goes to work in a mundane job and her lazy bastard boyfriend stays at home watching TV and takes all the money off her. I've known couples like that. Still, selling their body is a bit of a degrading way of earning money, I hear you say. Well, yes, I suppose so. But you have to do something for a living. Look at factory workers, building workers, taxi drivers, office staff. All of these people hate their jobs, but they do it because they need the money. And they often earn much less than the girls in the red light area of Amsterdam. No wonder those girls are so cheerful. But what makes me mad is that there is so much hypocrisy in all of this. A man who goes to Amsterdam for a bit of rumpy-pumpy, how is that so bad? I mean, I wouldn't say that makes him a perv or anything like that. But if you want examples of pervs, I could give you many.
On the topic of age, some people have wondered just how young some of these girls Steady Eddy is preying on are. But for now, that's all just rumour and conjecture. What is evidenced 100% is Eddy's delusional cope that these down-and-out women prefer older men and desire Eddy. He will engage in the most ridiculous mental gymnastics to convince himself that it is a pleasure for these young Asian prostitutes to sleep with him, as we're about to see. He also unceasingly mocks women. His recurring 20-stone wife joke betrays his out-and-out misogyny and antagonism towards women, and his wicked attitude towards the fairer sex.
Oh my God, there's my 20-stone wife on the wall.
All I need now is my nagging 20-stone wife to turn up and ruin my day. I tell you what, I've got a 20-stone wife at home. You can have her if you want.
I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. And so's my 20-stone wife.
God, what just walked by? Don't tell me it's my 20-stone wife. She's not creeping up behind me, is she?
But what exactly is paradise? My 20-stone wife later on tonight. I haven't got it's not as if I've got a nagging 20-stone wife who's waiting for me in the bedroom. I am Spartacus, so am I. And so's my 20-stone wife.
Are you suggesting I put my 20-stone wife on OnlyFans?
Then instead of being here, I could be taking my nagging 20-stone wife to my local social club.
You talking about my 20-stone wife?
You know with my 20-stone wife, are you? You know 20-stone wife, I didn't bring her with me.
Except for my 20-stone wife. No, just kidding. No, I love all women. All women.
No jokes about my 20-stone wife, please. Oh, my 20-stone wife is here. How are you, Mabel? My 20-stone wife will be welcome there.
As long as she's not, she doesn't weigh the same as my 20-stone wife. I'll tell you what, have you seen my 20-stone wife?
My 20-stone wife back in England. It's got about 50 men in her life.
Massive 20-stone wife with their tattoos on her bicep. 20-stone wife every night. My 20-stone wife, she is currently in bed, shagging Ed Sweeney's 20-stone wife. That's what it's all about. 20-stone wife, okay, but that's not all bad.
Hi guys, and welcome once again to those new subscribers. I hope you found the info I've given you to be useful up to now. Well, in this vlog I'm going to talk about a reoccurring comment that I've had about my recent videos. You will recall I've done a few videos about Southeast Asia, Thailand and Cambodia mainly, and those lovely ladies that can be found there. I've also given prices on how much it costs to have fun with the ladies. Well, when you start giving prices out about such things, it can be an emotive issue with some people. It often sounds either too much or too little, depending on what you've heard previously. The prices I gave sounded reasonable to most people, but there are those who get really wound up about it. So, about this comment that I've heard a few times about my recent videos, it goes something like this. The only reason those girls want so much money from you is because you're old and fat and ugly. Well, that's the first part of the comment, and yes, I already know this because I do have a mirror and I do look in it occasionally. So the second bit of the comment is the one that always gives me a chuckle. The second part goes something like this. I'm much younger and better looking than you, so those girls wouldn't charge me as much. And then there are others who make similar comments that when they went out to these countries, they had lots of local ladies and they didn't pay anything at all. These young men were so good looking, in fact, that the bar girls slept with them for free. Wow, how I envy those handsome young men. All those bar girls and massage girls in Thailand and Cambodia, just queuing up to boom those guys for free. So, you guys watching this, what do you think? Do you believe the claims of these young men? Because I sure as hell know what I think. Bullshit! Let's get real here. The girls you meet in the bars in these countries are working girls, and people who work do it for the money. Those girls are no different. They do not work for free, and they do not work at a lower price because a customer is young and good looking. The guys who make these comments, who I'm assuming may be half my age, seem to believe their own shit. So these guys don't like the idea of paying money or paying full price for the services of these lovely young ladies. Maybe it hurts their ego to be paying for a girl who may well be the same age as they are. Yes, sure, and this is precisely the reason why the girls you meet in these countries prefer older men. Older men simply have a more realistic attitude. And it's also the reason why a lot of these girls are reluctant to go with those young men, and some won't even entertain young men at all. I know this because I've been going out to these countries for many years and I've encountered many lovely ladies and never had a real problem with any of them. Yes, it's true I go with ladies who are a lot younger than me. On my travels, the girls I meet in the bars are always aged between 25 and 35. I think that's a good age group. Okay, so I'm a lot older, but they don't seem to mind. The fact is, I act like a gentleman with these ladies, which is why they're willing to go with me again and again and again. Well, that makes me feel good. So anyway, what do the bar girls of Thailand and Cambodia really think of young men? I'm talking, of course, about Western young men who go there on a brief holiday and want to get pissed and get laid. Well, I've met many of the bar girls who quite vociferously declare, I don't like young men. Many of these young men can be so full of themselves that the working girl can have a hell of a job getting the money out of them. The problem with so many of these young guys is that they go for a 2-week holiday in Thailand, having heard from their bullshitting friends back home that everything, including the women, is dirt cheap out there, and then, when they find it isn't, they quickly run short of money, and this can have serious consequences when they still want to try the local ladies. Some years ago, I was in a well-known beach resort in Thailand and met a simply beautiful young Thai girl in one of the bars. She was 26 but looked younger and was so petite and beautiful. My God, heaven, I want this girl. So I paid the bar fine and brought her to my hotel room where we had a simply fantastic night. Lovely personality, real sweet and beautiful. She made me feel good and I rewarded her for it. She then proceeded to tell me about a recent encounter she'd had with a young man, a 19-year-old English boy.
Yes, she went to the hotel with this 19-year-old boy. Well, she only looked about that age herself, even though she was 26 and had a child. So what happened with this 19-year-old English boy? Well, they boomed and spent the night together. Then the next morning, as she was leaving the hotel, she said, "You have to pay me." Well, he refused to pay her for the great night that she'd given him. So she said, "But you have to pay me." His reply was, "I don't pay English girls, why should I pay you?" When a Thai or Cambodian girl vociferously says, and I've heard it many times, "I don't like young men," you can bet there's a reason for it. They've simply had bad experiences with them in the past. I'm simply saying that there's always a few that spoil it for the rest. So, to those dudes who like to make out that they can get a sexy Asian bar girl for a discount price simply because you have a six-pack and are good looking, you know what you can do. Go holiday in Ibiza or Faliraki or those other places where young people like to hang out. I'm sure there's lots of hot, sexy ladies out there, and if you're really that good looking, they may even sleep with you for free. In fact, guys, if you're really the sexy young beast that you say you are, they may even pay you. As for us older guys who love Thailand and Cambodia, remember, if you are realistic and you be a gentleman with the ladies, they will always love you for it. Remember, they love older men. Anyway, that's enough waffling on from me. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel because I've got a whole lot more information I want to share with you. Give this video a thumbs up if it's been useful to you. If it hasn't been useful, still give it a thumbs up because you never know, you may later change your mind. Thanks for watching and cheers.
Pattaya would fit that bill. Great fun place to be sure, but who wants to stay there for 6 months a year? I just get the feeling Pattaya is a great place to visit, but not a great place to spend 6 months. I'd go crazy long before that time was up. Sporadically, Pattaya is the best way for me anyway. Well, at the end of the day, I'm the one who's chosen this lifestyle, so I've got to accept the ups and downs of it. So I'll stay with the travelling lifestyle until I realise I've had my fill of it. But right now, on this rather grim and very long train journey from Chiang Mai to Bangkok, I need some kind of spark to put me back in the right frame of mind. The recent travelling experiences have not been what they should have been, and one thing which has been noticeably absent is female company of any sort. That's right, ladies. Where have they been recently? It's only now that I realise I haven't had a woman for, well, it seems longer than it really is. From the shady-looking girly bars of Taipei, which I didn't participate in, to the 40-year-old rough-looking working girls of Hanoi, who looked like they just wanted to steal my wallet. And then the dullness of Chiang Mai left me feeling some kind of spark was gone, and I simply couldn't be bothered to go searching for any women. The end result is that I, as a heterosexual male, haven't had any fun with the ladies recently. And isn't that an essential part of solo travelling? I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't regard myself as a sex tourist. I visit different exotic countries, I see important cultural sites. I am first and foremost a traveller. Those beautiful exotic Asian ladies are just the icing on the cake. The problem I'm having right now is that I feel like I'm eating a cake without any icing. And I really could do with a bit of icing.
Well, I left the hotel at 7:30. got the train 8:50, and it's now about 8 p.m. So that's basically an 11-hour journey anyway. So I'm glad that it's over. Bangkok awaits, and I'm really glad to be here. So this is Bangkok, one of the great cities of Southeast Asia, and another place where I sporadically return to. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it seems a necessary evil, but it's the most visited city in the world for a reason. And for all its concrete jungle appearance, Bangkok still has that essential third world raw-edged charm. I'm staying in Soi 4, home of Nana Plaza, the self-titled world's largest adult playground. Okay, so that may be an exaggeration, but from the moment you see Nana area, you can't deny the excitement, the buzz of this place. Lights, music, crowds, beer, food and girls, everything gets you head on as soon as you enter Soi 4. I've had my adventure, I've taken a gamble and visited places where I didn't know what to expect, I've done the cultural stuff. Now it feels great to be in a place which I feel more familiar with, know more or less what to expect, and it feels good to be here. As I arrived in Soi 4, I felt uplifted. Those long moments of boredom, those moods I felt in other places, now seem to be behind me. I was back here in Bangkok, a city full of life, and I was giving life back to me. And now what I needed to cement that life was the one thing that had been missing from my recent travels. As a heterosexual male with heterosexual needs, I needed an intimate encounter that was going to put me back on track. What I needed right now was a hot, sexy lady, and boy, did I get one. I met her in a popular bar. It was ran with people and had a great live band. And she was having a laugh with several other Thai women, all of them a good age, about 30. From the moment I set eyes on her, I thought, my God, she's beautiful. She had the face of an angel and the body of a porn star. It's amazing how you can take to these women. They're so affable you can sometimes feel like you've known them for years. And as we consumed drinks and fell into each other's company, all those long, moody times I'd had whilst travelling seemed a thing of the past. This was all about now, and I couldn't take my eyes off that body. Wow, she was awesome. I had to have her. We didn't stay very long to enjoy the live band. Can always watch those tomorrow. A short tuk-tuk journey later, and my Bangkok lady was back at my hotel. And she lived up to expectations. She was a real good girl. She did all the things she promised to do. She didn't try to rob and cheat me like many people say these girls will. I've always found if you treat these girls right, you are not going to go far wrong. At least that's been my experience. I had a fantastic night with this beautiful lady. So fantastic, I had to see it again for several more nights during my stay in this great city. Anything that good is worth going back for more. Okay, so I know I'm going a bit over the top here, and I'm sure some of you are thinking, you sad, pathetic old fool. Well, that's fine by me. Back in the UK, I know lots of sad, pathetic old fools. The difference is, I still have fun in life, and they don't. So what is the moral of this story? Morals? Do you really need morals? Well, I suppose the moral of this story could be, there's nothing that cheers you up more than a good, oh, I don't know, you decide that one.
Once you get to grips with Bangkok, you realise it really is that city where you live out those dreams you once had. It may not be the charming third world city it once was, but it's still Bangkok, and it can still deliver your dreams. As with the Philippines and many other Asian countries, you see well-dressed local youth out in the bars, eating and drinking and having a good time. I kind of wondered about all the young Vietnamese you see in this video. What kind of work do they do? I suspect they work in restaurants, banks, shops, just normal stuff like they do in the Western world. Some may even work in a family business. Whatever they do, they don't seem to be short of money. So, am I too old to be drinking around a place like this? I probably am, but then I think, if I'd played my cards differently in life and did what many guys my age do back in the UK, then instead of being here, I could be taking my nagging 20-stone wife to my local social club where I'll be playing a pub quiz where the prize is a leg of lamb or an out-of-date chicken. And that's the good bit of their lives. I think I'd rather be here. So, at this point, some of you may be wondering, are there any nice local ladies on this island? And which bars did they hang out in? Well, to be honest, it's difficult to say, because a lot of these bars seem to be very quiet right now. Not much of anything happening. There do seem to be some bars which have the potential if you want to meet ladies, but Koh Samet is not really that kind of place. You have Pattaya not very far away. If you want ladies, there are truckloads of them in Pattaya. Anyway, it's late night and time to visit this rather good value late night restaurant.
Okay. You don't mind, do I? Come on, picture of your kill. You're cool, you're a cool guy. You're a cool guy. The ladyboy's knocking around. But yeah, it's okay, it's pretty good. Yeah, there always were quite a lot of ladyboys knocking around about this part of town. I don't know what it is with it, but never mind. I mean, you know, some people like that sort of thing. I better not film because They may not like it very, very much. I better point the camera at me. Anyway, I know there's a couple of nice little bars down there, so I'm good at, I'm gagging for a cold beer. Lady boys, Jesus, lady boys. Whatever your preferences are, fellas, you must admit some of those lady boys sure know how to look good. Well, soon I'll be heading off to Southeast Asia, where I'll be for a very long time this winter. Which reminds me of the girl I once met in a bar in Phnom Penh. There I was, smooching up at the bar with this lovely, delightful young lady. I bought her a few drinks and I thought that bar find is getting very, very close. But I wanted to see her identity card because, remember, they're not getting into that hotel without it. Well, she was reluctant to show me her identity card at first, and the more reluctant she was, the more I was determined to see it. Finally, she pulled out the identity card. I took a look at it, and I thought to myself, oh my God, what the hell is that? That picture, not only did it look like a man, he didn't even look Asian. He was black. She tried to hush me, she said, shh, I borrow identity card. Really? And who exactly did you borrow it from? Smokey Robinson. Oh my God, I couldn't possibly go with this girl. I mean, that identity card, oh my God. I was so getting to like him, it, whatever it was. She told me not to worry about it, but I'd already made my mind up. But then I looked at this girl again. This was a beautiful, womanly, feminine, nothing remotely masculine about her. That ID card couldn't possibly be her, but there was only one way to make sure. So I told her I'd pay the bar fine if she'd let me examine the goods beforehand. She didn't have a problem with that. She was up for a laugh. So we disappeared into the toilets together. I sat her down on the seat, pulled down the drawbridge and opened the gates wide. And what did I see? Pure delight, 100% woman, absolutely delightful. Yeah, it was such a lovely sight. Oh, geez, it was worth paying the bar fine for that alone. My favourite street in Phnom Penh. In fact, my favourite street in Cambodia. No, make that my favourite street in the whole world. This is 104 Street. Now, I always think of 136 and 104 is like the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. 136 is the Rolling Stones of the girly bar streets. There's a lot more to it, but I prefer the Beatles. This is the Beatles of the girly bar streets. You've got Bunny Bar, Marine Bar, Matilda Bar, Zanzibar Top 10, Stilettos, Rose Bar, and I don't care who knows it. Over the years, I have scored in every one of these bars. I don't care who knows it. Jesus, I've got some fond memories of this street. I really, really have. This is the street where I want to be buried. It looks fairly innocuous of a daytime, but of a nighttime it's full of life. Full of like lovely, sexy ladies. Matilda's bar is a very, very good rock bar. Now Zanzibar, I actually always fun in there. Well, I had me fun last night. I actually scored in there last night. Yeah, last night I was in Zanzibar and I met a lovely young lady, beautiful young lady, and we met up and well, you can guess the rest anyway. I think we'll talk all about that in a later vlog, but let me just say that she made me feel good. In the words of James Brown, I feel good. Believe me, I really feel good. What a good night I had. Now this one here, Rose Bar, they say this was the original girly bar in 104 Street, Phnom Penh. I think it's listed in a lot of guides, and that's why it tends to be busier than you know, a lot of the other bars. I think what it is that you know, people, fellas who come here for the first time, they want to feel safe, and obviously that's the most established one, so they probably feel safe with that one. But the fact is, all of these bars are pretty good. I've never had any problems, you know, no tourist traps, none of that rubbish in any of these bars. You know, you get what you pay for, and basically, and it's all very, well, it all works very, very well. 104 bar, 104 bar, Jesus Christ. There are some hot ladies in that one of a night time. There are some seriously beautiful girls in there. Air Force Bar, another of my old favourites. And Oscars, they have a live band on in there. I've been there many, many, many times over the years. Yeah, I really like Oscars. That's a good, friendly place. Bar music pool table. And over here, let's see. And over here you've got Lisa's Salon, Lisa Bar, okay. That's a bit of a girly bar there. And it is one of them. I haven't actually been in this one, but I love the name of it. Fanny Honeymoon Bar. Sounds good. Sounds a bit hairy, that one, doesn't it? Yeah, smutty.
Now, I know what some of you guys may be thinking of, you know, how about the women, Ed? How about the women? Yes, there are ladies here, but I have to say that they are not you know, they're not the glamorous ones that you will see in Phnom Penh. Yeah, you know, the girls here sort of have a more of a council estate look about them. A guy told me that, you know, the girls, okay, they look a bit rough and ready, but, you know, they'll do anything for you. Kind of like a tart with a heart, that sort of stuff.
Beep, beep. McLaren one makes beep, beep, beep. The Rookie Cameron, 2 Cambodian girls keep it shaven. No more or less than any other girls. I mean, as you know, as someone who likes, you know, who grew up watching 70s vampire movies where women were nice and hairy, I love all of that. I mean, I don't. Where did that trend come from? Where all of a sudden women decided to, you know, shave the pussy. Where did that all come from? I mean, nowadays women are an abomination. They have silicone, they have tattoos, they shave their womanly bits. I like women to look like women personally. You know, some of them say it's more hygienic, don't they? You know, to shave, it's more hygienic.
Yeah, you like it hairy, yeah, like it.
Mark Owen,
Like a hairy.
I will bring a pot of gold. Here we go, here's the Bayers.
I remember in the 90s, man, the girls didn't shave.
Okay, here's the Bayers. Here's the Bayers coming. Mike Richardson, Eddy, you like to floss when you go down? Only if she's hairy. Only if she's hairy. Mark Cullen, it came from the 90s. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, where the girls all of a sudden started changing. I mean, the thing is, you know, a woman's hairy bits were part of what, you know, yeah. I mean, when you were a young man about town, and, you know, you went out and you pulled birds, and you talked to your mates about it the next day. And one of the, you know, your mate would say to you, what was she like naked? Oh, she had a lovely hairy one. Nice and hairy. I mean, now, there's such things don't even exist. You know, you very, very rarely see one.
Yeah, because they're all on social media, man. They gotta keep the social media presence, you know. They can't be the hairy girl.
Mark Holland, give me the 60s and 70s anytime. Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree, absolutely. Martin Blunton, he's still doing the dirty dozen, always. Stuart Marsden. Michael M., my personal opinion is that women shaving downstairs started in the adult film industry and migrated to the mainstream from there, okay? Well, once we get on this subject of hairy fannies, I mean, they all have the input. Johnny B, has Little Ed seen any action there? Well, not in Phnom Penh because I've had a bit of an illness, you know what I mean? But I'm coming out of it now, I'm coming out of it. Little Ed will spring into action pretty soon.
He looks happy because he's on top of the world. He's #1 in Asian live stream. He's #1 on YouTube. And he's #1. He's killing it. Well, because I still have to wear a mask at work 8 hours a day. I hate being a welder.
Oh, man, cheers, thanks. Cheers for $5. Cheers, Dave. Cheers. Audio is not working for a minute there. Oh, fuck. It's there.
Mark Alec, I mean, what's not pulling out a hair or two in the beaver? Lovely stuff, beautiful stuff. Oh, they were the days, weren't they? They were the days. You know, the girls used to boast about them. The guys used to love it. I mean, this generation don't understand it. If you used to give a teenager a 70s, men's magazine now, they'd say, "Oh my God, all of those hairs, Christ Almighty!" And I'd say, not only all of those hairs, but something else about the girls: no tattoos. Jesus Christ.
I was on a German train, from the 90s. Because all the other trains were out of service, so they put this old German train up.
Yes, this little street, 104 Street, I've got so much affection for this street. I mean, I've known it very, very well over the years. I've scored in just about every bar here, and some of the bars that are not even here anymore. But why the hell not? You only live once, and in my case, you're only young twice. Absolutely, 104 Street, magnificent.
So, having seen all that, what concerns me is that there is a passive-aggressive side and vicious streak to Eddy in the way that he treats other people. He does his best to keep it hidden, but it does come out at times. He's also prone to mood swings. I'm wondering if Eddy has ever been violent to any of the litany of women he's dealt with in the past. Listen to his venom and anger in these clips here.
Also annoying and a bit more persistent is the guys who want to sell you a suit. You know, the guys who, when you're passing their shop, they will show you brochures of a suit and then invite you to come into their shop and try on some suit or get measured up for the suit. And if you're not interested in a suit, then they want to give you a card so that, you at least know that if you want a suit, then you can come and buy a suit. And if you're thinking about buying a suit, then there's the card. Come in and they'll measure you up for the suit. And basically, even if you don't want a suit, well, at least take their cards anyway. So you never know, you may just be thinking about buying a suit. And if you are thinking about buying a suit, then there's the card and there's their number. How many times do I have to tell you I don't want a suit?
Anyway, I'm going to go back to my old ways, okay? I'm going to return to the days when I was a bit of a unknown, loose cannon vlogger who didn't associate with other YouTubers. What I'm basically saying is that from now on, from this moment in time, I, Edward Steady Eddy Sweeney, have decided that I don't want to know other YouTubers. Any of them that I'm subscribed to, I'm going to unsubscribe them. I'm not going to have any contact with them. And there's a simple reason is I'm angry because as I've got to know certain YouTubers, I am appalled, absolutely bloody appalled at the amount of bitchiness and infighting and backbiting and, we're the good guys, he's the bad guy, the good guys are good guys, we're all cliquey, and the bad guys are all alcoholics and they're all losers and bloody alcoholics. We're the good guys, we stick together, we're the cowboys, they're the Indians, who bloody cares? I'm talking about men in the 50s here, and 60s even, bitching at each other like a gang of old women. For Christ's sake, and I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it when they try and involve me in their bitchiness. They can all bloody kill each other for all I care.
I don't give a damn. From now on, I'm not having nothing to do with anymore. I just can't bloody believe the way these people are behaving. The way some of these people are behaving, bitching at each other. And even telling me who I should and shouldn't be friends with, for Christ's sake. I'm annoyed. I'm bloody annoyed. And I thought there's the answer somewhere. And I thought, I know the answer. Go back to my old ways when I simply didn't bother with other YouTubers. They can all kill each other for all I care. Just don't involve me in it.
Recently, Steady Eddy announced that he has terminal brain cancer. So, on a very serious note in this video, if you're watching this, Eddy, I would like to strongly suggest that you consider accepting Jesus into your life. You are not a fluke, you're not the result of happenstance, you're not the result of millions of years of evolution. This earth and this life we have is not the result of random chance. You were created by God to know him and to have a relationship with him. Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and only through repenting of our sins and accepting that he died on the cross for us can we go to heaven. Please give this a lot of thought, and I'll leave some videos on this in the description. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm going to leave you now with a poem from Eddy in which he muses and reflects on his life as a sex tourist and confronts some conflictions and troubles he has regarding the life he's lived. The poem is called Cambodia Girl, and it contrasts the more mellow, human side to Ed with his uncaring, relentless abuse of women, this duality that exists within him. If you enjoyed this video, please donate to my GoFundMe linked below in the description, and I'll see you all in the next one. I wish everyone involved in this video and everyone watching all the best.
Cambodia Girl, a face from the past. Another brief romance that didn't last. Here she is again, working in the bar. The dream she once had didn't go far. Is it 3 years I last saw you? Is it really that long? I remember you told me there was something wrong. Your mama was ill, I remember you cried. But worse was to come, your papa just died. Cambodia Girl, I don't know if she's good or bad. I can only guess at the life she's had. I don't fool myself thinking it's love she's given. I know it's her only way of making a living. There's only so much money she can make. When she tells me her problems, I find it hard to take. She wants a man who'll take it away from here, not a sex tourist who perpetuates it year after year. I regret to say I'm not a rich man. I can only give you what I can. I'm not the angel I may appear to be. I'm not here to release you from poverty. Whatever future you may see, the answer to your problems just ain't me. Cambodia Girl, I wish you all the best. But you've got to understand, I'm just like all the rest. I'm not one of those lady old men who likes to dance and grope, but I'm not the shining knight for whom you live in hope. I just came to this land to have some fun. Drink the cold beer, soak up the sun. So what if I dabble with the ladies of the night? I'm not here to preach about what's wrong or right. When they're 24, they are so much fun. But time goes on, their best years are gone. What happens when they're too old to be working in the bar? They no longer make money to take to Ma and Pa. Sooner or later, they must draw the line. It takes more than a boob job to turn back time. Till they get to the stage when they can retire from all this, go back to the province, it's more than the city they'll miss. as they watch the younger girls getting all the attention. In this game there's no such thing as a pension. No social security in this third world land. Nothing to fall back on when things get out of hand. Some can even end up sleeping on the street. Babies at their sides, rats at their feet. I came to this third world land for whatever the reason. I feel relaxed here whatever the season. But there comes a time when you must face the facts. Her appearance stops me dead in my tracks. She's put on weight, but she's still so petite. Now here she is, sleeping on the street. Beautiful girl I once met in a bar. The dream she once had didn't get far. Did the family she once had fall apart? Her appearance now breaks my heart. Her broken eyes sees a face from before. Her clothes are now rags, a begging bowl on the floor. She once gave pleasure to so many men, and now she sleeps on the cruel streets of Phnom Penh.
Coming up only to hold you under. I'm coming up only to show you wrong. And to know you is hard, we wonder. To know you every occasion I'll be ready for the funeral. Every occasion once more is called the funeral. Every occasion of I'm ready for the funeral. Every occasion of 1 billion day funeral. Coming up only to show you down flat. I'm coming up only to show you wrong. I'm coming up only to show you down flat. I'm coming up only to show you wrong.